Hello guys, this is Sahid and I welcome you to Visa Pathfinders. Today we shall be bringing you up to speed regarding the care related jobs. Starting with the home healthcare worker, and this is a job that is in Ontario. It is 30 to 40 hours, and this job has got all the details right here. So you have the details right here. One year to less than 2 years work experience. So you can see all the responsibilities here, including administering bedside and personal care, among others. And you would have to, so your target audience are the elderly, the females, males, elderly, persons living with disability, among others. So in order to apply, you would have to send your application before the 7th of October, and this application will be sent to this email right here. Next up is another home healthcare worker, and that is also in Ontario. So that's a job that requires an high school. This job requires high school graduation certificate or its equivalent. So 1 year or less than 2 years work experience is required. So these are the job roles, and you would be expected to be able to lift up to 9 kg in weight. Personal suitability for the job include being punctual, uh, include being able to use your own initiative, having good judgment, being an organized person, being dependable, among others. So this job you would be applying latest 27th of you would be applying latest 27th of September 2023. And that's the email to apply to. So the next one is for a family which is based in Woodbridge in Ontario. And that job, they're looking at someone who is able to start as soon as possible. So it also requires a 1 year or less than 2 years work experience. So they got an optional accommodation available at no charge because it's on a live-in basis. So, however, this is not a condition for the employment. So those are the responsibilities and the target audience: elderly, females, people with disability. And this is the email to apply to, and that is the deadline. So the next job is the home healthcare worker, and that is for a family in Ontario. And that is looking at someone that can start that is looking at someone who is able to start as soon as possible. High school certificate, looking at a high school certificate required, 1 year to less than 2 years experience. These are the job roles, and that is the email to apply to. You should be applying before the 18th of October. So next is a child care provider. So the next is a child care provider in a private home, and that is at the Jamal household, and that's in Mississauga in Ontario. So they're looking at someone who is able to work 35, 40 hours per week, and usually between the hours of 12 and 8 p.m. So, in terms of the job overview, so no degree or certificate or diploma is required. Then employer's home is where you'll be working. Relocation costs covered by the employer, actually. And these are the responsibilities in the job. The travel expenses are covered by the employer. There are also health benefits such as the health care plan. And in terms of the application, you would be applying to this email, and you should actually be including a copy of your portfolio, your relevant work examples, and answer the following questions when you have to answer the following questions when applying to the job. So you should be applying by the 7th of October. So the next job is in Woodbridge in Ontario, two vacancies. So high school certificate or less than 2 years experience. There is an optional accommodation available. Those are the responsibilities. And in terms of the email, so that's the email to apply to, and that is the deadline. So this is another job in British Columbia, and they're looking at a permanent employment for full time. So it's a full-time permanent employment, secondary or high school certificate, 1 year to less than 2 years experience, and we're looking at all these responsibilities. And so there is, so you should be applying to this email, include your cover letter and answer these questions, and apply by the 11th of October. So the next job is in North York in Ontario, and that is also looking at someone who is able to start as soon as possible. Those are all the details. That's the work setting, the responsibility. Then it should apply to this email, and that is the deadline of the 8th of October. The next job is in Ontario as well, and that is looking at someone who is able to start as soon as possible with these responsibilities, and the email and the deadline are just stated right here. So the next job also is in Ontario, and in terms of the job details, you would be seeing all of that right here. High school certificate required. Those are the responsibilities. So your target audience would be people, will be kids ages 6 to 12, and the email and the deadline. Next is another job in Vancouver in British Columbia, and those are the job details, including the job description. Then you should be applying to this email, and that's the deadline. The next one is in Maple, Ontario, and the details are right there stated. So your target audience would be those 6 to 12 and over 12 years of age. Should be applying to this email. So the next job is in Vancouver again, and you should be, and those are all the details right there, and apply to this email and deadline. The next one also is in British Columbia, and those are the job details and the responsibilities. So you will care for multi-age group of children, and that's the email and deadline of application. And finally, the last job to be talked about today is that also located in Ontario. And those are the information regarding the job. So you should be applying to the email stated, and they would be requiring some references, and you have to answer this question, and that's the deadline to apply. So that's everything for today. So that brings us to the end of this video. Please feel free to leave your comments in the comment box. If you need any kind of individualized services, please feel free to email us at the visaprofinders@gmail.com, and we're more than happy to respond to your requests. So thank you very much for being there always, and see you some other time.